Hi everyone, I'm Sweet Melba. Thanks for joining me for Sunday on the Porch. Well, I'm 3 weeks from my retirement date. It's getting closer. And at this point, it's really, I think, all about trusting the decision that I've made. And I'm not retiring because I don't like my work. I do enjoy my work. I've been fortunate to do what I really do enjoy. But why am I deciding to retire at 56? That's pretty young. But there's a variety of things that go into that. I wanted to talk a little bit about, being comfortable with that at this point. So thanks for joining me. I think my biggest reason for retiring, and I feel very comfortable with this, in that I've done what I wanted to do in my career. And I've been doing that for almost a full 29 years now. And it was really last summer that awareness really came to me. We were on a great vacation. It was wonderful. It was a month-long vacation in the Mediterranean. And my biggest awareness was I wasn't missing work. And it wasn't because I didn't want to go back, that I wasn't enjoying it. I just didn't miss it. And it was really then that I realized, I think I've done enough in my career and I'm good with that. I've accomplished a lot. I've helped a lot of different organizations and different aspects of my community with my work in the nonprofit field. And it was just that, knowing that I had done what I really wanted to do in my career. And maybe you've had thoughts like that. You've done it for a number of years, and maybe you don't feel as challenged or whatever the case may be. But for me, I just really came away last summer knowing that I was good with what I had done, and I was ready to look at something different. So that was a key piece for me. And I think that was my biggest, as I say, awareness, that I was ready to look at a different chapter in my life. So that was certainly part of it. But there was more too. I think the older we get, the more we realize that not everything's guaranteed, that things can change very quickly. And, I think you have to be aware that, you know, the next day may not come, whether that's for you or family members, loved ones. So, the other morning I've been contemplating this other trip that we were going to take, and couldn't really make up my mind whether if I really wanted to go or not. And I kind of said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. And I was making my coffee, and this thought just came to me. And I really wasn't thinking about the trip, but the thought was, you better take the chance to enjoy the opportunities that you have in front of you, because you may not get that opportunity again. And I knew right then what my decision was. I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to go on this particular trip. And the other, that's, recent, but I've talked about this in my other videos as well too. The passing of my brother, almost been 2.5 years now, was a surprise. And, you kind of know things can change, right? But when they actually happen to you, when you have a loved one that's lost, it just makes it even more aware. And again, I think as we get older, I think we all become more aware of that, as others pass. And I think that's, maybe it's the wake up call, right? That says, where are you at right now in your life? Are you happy where you're at? Are there things you still want to do? Are there opportunities you haven't had a chance to pursue? And you better take an opportunity to enjoy that. And so that was another big piece for me. And knowing that, again, the reminder that things can change. And so I really was like, I need to really consider where I'm at. Again, I talked about being where I wanted to be in my career. I kind of accomplished what I wanted to, but being aware that there was a lot of other things that I still wanted to do. And I needed to pay attention to that because you never know what's going to happen. So I really started thinking more about what it is that I wanted to continue to do. So if I wasn't working, I was going to end my career and I was going to retire. What would I be doing? Obviously spending more time with family, with my husband, and doing activities we enjoy, spending time with my parents, helping them with their activities at home, and the activities that I enjoy doing, my hobbies and other pursuits. And as that pertains to my career, my field, right? That I'm looking forward to opportunities that I can continue to contribute. My history research and things like that. That's all stuff that I can do on my own, and I don't need a career to do that. And those are things that I really want to do, projects I've started over the years and really haven't spent much time with. So I really looking forward to doing that. And I knew that was the right decision, there were plenty of things that I wanted to do more of. It wasn't a situation of me thinking, well, I don't know what I would do if I was retired. I know what I would do. I know the different things I want to do. So I was very comfortable with, that decision as well. That, yeah, there's plenty of things that I would like to do more of. And so I'm looking forward to that. So that's another decision that I'm very comfortable with. And looking forward to that. And not feeling like I wouldn't know how to spend my time. And I think having that comfort in that, because I know a lot of people sometimes will say, I don't know what I would do if I was retired. And, I certainly understand that point of view. But I do. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be able to do more of that, more travel, and learning, right? That's part of what I've kind of always done. My career has been kind of centered around learning, continuing to learn. I think our experiences and activities allow us to continue to learn. So slowing down, yes, but not in the sense that life isn't still enriching. And that's, I think, an aspect that's important. And I think you all have to have a comfort level with that in terms of, where your decisions and how you make your decisions. But for me, I'm good with that. And I'm happy with that direction and that decision. So I'm comfortable with that too. But there's another big key part of this. And that can't be forgotten about. So a little bit about that. So the one thing I really don't spend a lot of time talking about necessarily, but it's essential, right? It's the financial. And knowing that, all of these other decisions and awarenesses that I've had about that, it's all great to have that, but financially, can you retire? And, I've talked a little bit about this in some of my other videos, and I kind of had an in-depth kind of discussion a while back about it. But that's another one that my husband and I are confident where we're at. And I think, in a lot of respects, that's probably one of the most uneasy feelings, right? But I think there's a level of trust in trusting that the planning that you've done, the work that you've done with professionals, because I certainly wouldn't go this without a professional next to me. And we're fortunate to have two that are um, very helpful to us, and we really do connect really well with. But yeah, you can't avoid the financial. You've got to have that component, right? So again, we're trusting and confident that what we've been planning for over the years, um, is where we need to be. And for us, our retirement financially was not a situation of we're going to be adding all this other stuff, so we're going to need a lot more money. That wasn't ours. We live a very, basic, simple. We enjoy certain activities, we enjoy the travel, but we don't have an extravagant lifestyle. And we're both okay with that. And so that was an essential part of our planning. And again, having advisors that we could talk through those activities and what we did want to do and what wasn't important to us and where we thought we could, make adjustments, things of that nature. And then also, I think with that confidence, I mean, there's always some uneasiness with that, right? But, having some additional planning in there when things don't go as the way you think they are, right? I think that's part of it too. So we have that as well. So again, we're happy where we're at. We're not planning to change our lifestyle much. We're certainly going to do more traveling, but aside from that, there's not a lot of big changes, and I think that adds a lot to um, where we're at in my decision to retire early. My husband retired a little bit early too. He's been retired for 3 years now. And again, when these other awarenesses came to me and these decisions about career and where I want to spend my time, we went to the financial planner. We went sooner than we were normally scheduled to, and said, you know what, things are changing. Got some different ideas here, and if we make this happen sooner rather than later, can we do that? And are we in a good spot to do that? So that was important, and we have those conversations regularly. So with all of that said, that you have to plan for that. And again, I think we've done that, and we're happy where we're at, foreseeing, where our plans are in the future and some of those unforeseen things too as well. So that's another decision that made my decision possible. So all of that combined, puts us in a different frame of reference and perspective to make the decisions that we're making. So I'm good. I'm good with where I'm at. I've got 3 weeks, and I'm comfortable, again, comfortable where I'm at. And I think I have plenty of ideas and interests that will keep me busy and that will allow me to continue to prioritize the things that are important to me in my life, time with my husband and my parents, community activities, again, traveling, doing my continued history research. So it looks good, and I'm hopeful that the next coming weeks are going to continue to feel that I'm in the right spot. So, if you're from that perspective and you're thinking about retiring, I think when you know, right? And you got to get all your ducks in a row. And we've taken our time and we've done that. And when you're there, then I think you got to trust where you're at and that you have done the work and the planning and that you're comfortable. And if you're not, then it's probably not the right decision at the right time. And so you reconfigure that and you look at it a little bit differently. But I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you joining me and on this 90-day countdown that I've been doing towards my retirement date at the end of this month of June. And then what's going to come next. I look forward to sharing that on the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video and maybe some of my perspectives have been helpful for you. If you've enjoyed it, I appreciate a like. And I invite you to join and subscribe to the channel. So thanks again for joining me for Sunday on the Porch.